Kirstie Allsopp has joined the list of people sparking a backlash against Rachel Reeves' tax raid plans. The Chancellor is reportedly set to end the Tories' temporary increase to the stamp duty threshold, potentially meaning a hefty additional bill of £2,500 per property buyer. That decision is expected to raise almost £2 billion towards Treasury funds, but will not be welcomed by cash-strapped members of the public. Certain inheritance tax exemptions may also be removed in a huge financial crackdown as the government aims to plug the alleged £22 billion black hole in the public purse. Labour has blamed the previous Tory government for making these changes necessary, but Kirstie expressed her frustration about the increasingly complicated situation. The location star told Times Radio that the stamp duty tax is a monster and that chaos in the housing market has led to distress, yet will not be successful in clawing back any money. The frustrated TV host continued, "It's become so complicated that I can no longer tell anyone what they would be paying in stamp duty. I have to go onto the stamp duty calculator and calculate it with the government calculator per property, and I have to put in all the different circumstances." Britons have just 12 days before the plans, which will reportedly include a huge £40 billion price tag in tax hikes and spending cuts, to be announced. The October budget will soon be unveiled and the nation will find out whether the fuel duty could rise by up to 7p per litre. The temporary 5p cut is expected to end in March 2025, after 14 years, with Whitehall sources reportedly claiming that it will not be renewed. The government also came under fire for recent plans to reform renters' rights, with critics claiming it could drive landlords out of the private rental sector altogether. It has been suggested that they could react to planned rules, such as making no-fault evictions impossible, by transforming their properties into Airbnb holiday lets instead. This would potentially mean a shortage in housing available for residents, and already inflated prices could then rise for renters. Meanwhile, if Reeves targets the stamp duty threshold, it could see it return to £125,000 from £250,000, while first-time buyers could see it plummet from £450,000 to £300,000. Shadow Chancellor Jeremy Hunt has stated, "During the election we repeatedly warned that Labour's sums didn't add up and that they were planning to raise taxes. The real scandal is that despite planning these tax rises all along, they didn't have the courage to admit it to the public during the election campaign. Unfortunately, it looks like it will be people who have saved all their life to provide an inheritance to their family who will pay the price for Labour's tax rises."